What's up, everyone? This is Destroyer229, and welcome back to the Bird and the Beast. Now, last time, we talked to most of the personalities here at Armadill's Tower, and kind of learned a little bit about their backstories. In this update, we are at the final phase of the battle. This is the final... Well, like I said, it's the final phase. The battle is coming to its conclusion. So I'm going to show you guys a few last-minute things that have changed and kind of what's going on a bit. Now, I do apologize this is going out a little bit later than what I had hoped. I did have this recorded ahead of time, but my commentary... The quality of the commentary was just crap. It wasn't really so much what I said, but just how the microphone picked it up. And I didn't have a chance to edit it until today because I just got back from a bit of a weekend vacation in the mountains with some friends, so yeah, kind of a bit busy. I do apologize for that, but we are getting this done now. So let's go ahead and see what has changed. Now, before we do that, let's go ahead and look at the lectern. So, lectern? That is weird. Why can I not manage the lectern? Why can I not... Army management! That's weird. It won't let me look at the army management. That is weird! Why wouldn't it let me look at that? It let me look at it before. Oh, well, whatever. I still remember what it was last. I don't remember the exact choice, but I remember for the Armadillian side at least, everything was maxed out except for bodyguards, which was almost maxed out. So I'm looking at the viewing board. There are currently no options available, so it won't really let us show. Man, it really kind of... This phase has been kind of screwy, admittedly. So let's look at what the last bump was. Oh, right. It shows it up here. So the last voting thing, both sides voted to have their buildings have boosts added to their effects. So the buildings are now a little bit better. Admittedly, this phase has been a little bit buggy, admittedly. I mean, for one, I can't manage the stupid lectern. I don't know why. I was able to do it at the beginning of the phase. But things have been really glitchy. When I go over to check the war map, everything's fine now. So whatever it was, it's been fixed. But for a good part, at least for the beginning of the phase, there was some sort of glitch in which like only one side could have a single building. Like, I would go to, like, an Armadillian building in Port Sarim, and I try to repair it. And all I would get would be a message saying, nothing interesting happens. And, like, I'd check my map, and it would look like it was vacant. It would be a blue space, even though there was clearly an Armadillian building. So, for both sides, they could only have one building. It was a really weird glitch, but it seems to be fixed now. And now the lectern, man, this has been kind of screwy. Now, as opposed to actual changes, there was the voting thing and the increased building effects, but the big change this week is the fact that the drop rate for sacred metal fragments has changed. Like I said in Phase 3, I believe, there are various ways to get sacred metal fragments, such as repairing buildings, killing opposite troops, and defending caravans, just to name a few. For the range amounts for sacred metal fragments, those don't seem to be changed. As in, like, you get, like, a drop. And it can be a certain range, usually between 10 or 20 if it's for a kill, or between 10 and 100 if you attack or defend a caravan. However, for the set amount of sacred metal fragments, those have all increased a little bit. And what I mean is, before, when you construct a node and help repair or tear it down, you'd have a chance to get 4 sacred metal fragments from helping to build or tear down the node. In this phase, that number has been increased to 5. For divining and healing, originally that was 6, it is now 7 metal fragments. And for the enriched wisps, instead of 8, you now get 10 sacred metal fragments. So, in case you needed one of those cosmetic overrides, you get a better chance of doing it. I've also noticed that I get those sacred metal fragments a lot quicker than usual, but it might just be because I have the dragon token. So, I'm not sure if that was something that's changed or not. There was something that we didn't get to do last time, though. And that was to talk to Takara. He withheld a little bit of information last phase, simply because he didn't trust us fully. So let's go ahead and talk to him now.
Ah, one of Armadale's most loyal supporters. We are delighted to see you. What can we do for you?
I have some questions about you.
Please, ask.
Alright, I have to kind of skip through some
Armadale
dialogue
represents our tribe.
quick. So, what happened after the God Wars?
My ancestors returned home to Abena from Gillinor. They were deserters. My people formed the same tribes as before, but lived as Armadale wanted them to live, at peace. We survived long enough for Armadale to find us again. He had been roaming the universe, mourning us. He returned to Abena and discovered that we lived. The celebrations lasted for a full year. We are fighting to end the war between gods. What happened to us cannot happen to anyone else.
And to that, it seems kind of strange. He says that he doesn't want what happened to the Avianci to happen to any other race. But just the fact that these wars are starting again, I mean, there's gonna be violence. Races will go extinct, just like in the previous God Wars. I mean, that just can't be helped. I mean, with most people, if Saradomin dies, they will feel at a loss. Simply because the majority of the human population, at least for NPCs, worship Saradomin. Same thing with most other gods. With Zamorak, you have, well, mostly they're demons that have entered some sort of pact. But I mean, you do have, like, his subset for humans. Bandos probably wouldn't really matter. Probably the biggest example actually would be Saren. Simply because Saren is the crystalline goddess of the elves. So if she died, or the elves went extinct, either one of them would be extremely depressed at it, similar to how Armadale felt about the Avianci. Because the elves entered into Gilnor through a portal called the World Gate, and it's no longer active. And they came here with Saren in the First Age. I mean, Guthix and Saren knew each other. They had a relationship. So, if the elves fall, or if Saren dies, I mean, think of what would happen to the other one. I mean, Saren would be extremely depressed, like what Armadale felt. And the elves, they would feel at a loss, because most of them, there's like a small sect that follows Zamorak or something, but almost all of them worship Saren, so you'd have to be careful about that. But I have no more questions.
May Armadale guide us to freedom.
Thank you, Takara. So like I said, the war, or the battle, really, it did the same thing in the Battle of Lumbridge. This battle is really coming at an end. At the time this is uploaded, right now I'm recording pretty close to midnight on the 19th. But in Grimmage Meantime, this is considered the 20th, right now, as of this recording. And this is when the world event actually ends. The world event will end at the next game update after the 20th of January, which technically is today. So, because of that, there isn't really much left to really do in the battle. There's some last-minute renown that people can get in case they wanted to get some last-minute rewards or the cosmetic overrides. Thankfully, I've gotten all the rewards that I wanted. I got the entire Armadillo War preset, which is what I'm wearing now. I got all the emotes for both sides, I got all the abilities, and I got all the cosmetic overrides. So, unlike the Battle of Lumbridge where I had to forsake the emotes, I actually managed to get everything I wanted. From both sides, too, which is pretty amazing. But as of to what the conclusion of the battle is, at this point, in the current standings, Bandos has 44,011,528 divine energy. Armadillo has 70,846,041 divine energy, which means Armadillo is currently leading by 26,834,513 divine energy. Like I said, the battle is due to end any day now. In fact, it may even end today if there's a game update, which for the most part Jagex doesn't usually update on Monday, so it'll probably be Tuesday. But even still, I mean, the battle's over, really. Bandos is lost, which means his time has come. He is about to die, which seems a little surreal, in fact. Bandos has always been made out to be like this terrible warmongering beast. And he kind of is. Except he's actually rather intelligent and a pretty good strategist as well. What kind of has me having a special hatred, I guess, for Bandos would be from the Dorgashin questline, which I believe I mentioned when we talked to Bandos and he mentioned Zanuck and the Dorgashin and his chosen commander. So, just from that questline, there's been a really antagonistic view, especially for me because I love that questline. So I really am not a big fan of Bandos. He was my least favorite of the gods in this whole, like, even from like the god emissaries and the biggest contenders. Armadillo is actually, well, he's really the fourth one that I would support because Saren and the Godless go hand in hand with me. If I can't have Saren fulfill the goals, then honestly, I would side with Zaros. Zaros, from what little I've seen, would probably leave mortals to their own devices, so I wouldn't mind being under him. But then after that would be Armadillo. And Armadillo, I still find to have some sort of, pact or agreement with Saren and the Godless. So Armadillo, I never wanted to see Armadillo die. I didn't. So I'm very happy at how this world event is going to play out. One of the biggest antagonists, well, actually, no, one of the biggest antagonists would be Runescape, but someone who has been really a thorn in our side for a while now, and someone who tried to take control and manipulate one of my favorite characters and friends in this game. He's finally getting what's coming to him. He's gonna get a laser to the face, and he will fall. Really, there's no argument. I mean, at the last recording, I said that his only chance would be if everyone moved over to his side and worked extremely hard on every single world to get a lot of divine energy and to stop Armadillo from getting any more energy. That can't happen now. It is far too late. But what I also find interesting is the fact that how these world events have played out, I mean, the results have pretty much mirrored the Battle of Lumbridge. I mean, really, I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that Zamorak initially led, and then as soon as people were able to log into RuneScape 3, they more sided with Saradomin. But what's interesting is just the fact that the ratios have always remained about the same in both battles. I mean, it started out with either Saradomin / Armadillo having a huge lead ratio-wise, and really the opposite side, being Zamorak or Bandos, has slowly caught up percentage-wise, but in actual energy, Armadillo / Saradomin have consistently been gaining a lead throughout the entirety of the battle. The losing side catches up in percentage, but is never able to actually lower the lead. They're never actually able to hint at any sort of comeback. So that's something I really think is interesting to consider in these world events. I do hope that maybe something like that will change, because if it becomes that predictable, then, I mean, these world events won't really be quite as fun as like the initial big, oh my gosh, 2 gods are fighting it out in Lumbridge. But, you know, none of these world events are ever going to be consistent. Heck, we've already gotten a hint at the 3rd one, and it's going to be between Braska Prime and Marimbo, which are 2 of the least serious gods in the game. You got the god of monkeys, or primates or whatever, and you have the god of cabbages. Yes, I'm dead serious. There is a god of cabbages. And that is what the next world event is going to be. So the next one isn't going to even be serious at all. But that is something to really talk about when that comes. So, I'm going to go ahead and catch me the simpling. So, join me next time when the Bird and the Beast concludes and we see the aftermath of the battle. There probably won't really be anything really left over in the game world except maybe the towers. But at the very least, we'll see what happens in the aftermath of it all. So until next time, everyone, take care.